What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about Life is Strange and Emma Myers, of course, of Wednesday, amongst other things. I'm taking this from a good friend of the channel, Adnan, over on Twitter. Does some amazing Life is Strange work amongst many other games. But he says, Wednesday star Emma Myers said her dream role would be to play Max Caufield from Life is Strange. And you look at the actual quote, and this is actually kind of surreal that this even happened. So they say, number 6, another dream role, Max from Life is Strange or Edith from What Remains of Edith Finch, both favorite video games of Emma's. I heard rumors that they were doing a Life is Strange adaptation. She says, I don't know if that's actually true, but it would be really fun. What Remains of Edith Finch is so good, though I don't know if there would be a need for a lead actor, but who knows. So this video is like primarily Life is Strange, but let me just quickly tackle, because funny enough, Life is Strange 1, one of my favorite games of all time, but you know another one that I talk about actually so often is What Remains of Edith Finch. So Emma Myers suddenly now becomes one of my favorite celebrities out there, because that's actually insane that those two games are placed in the same category, like in her brain, right, where she's aware of them and she's clearly, at least hopefully, played both of them. She talks like it. So I don't know, like that's just freaking awesome. I think What Remains of Edith Finch is so unbelievably good, and she could, I mean, that's an odd one. I don't think that is big enough to ever get an adaptation, and then you're playing it as a first-person perspective. It's so kind of trippy and like all over the place, and also because of the first person, like she says, that actually would be extremely odd, but you have voiceover the entire time. So if there was ever like an animated thing, I mean, you could probably just have the voice though of Edith from the games, and maybe that would be disrespectful to recast her. So I don't know, but that is pretty cool. Just want to throw that in. As for Max, I made a video over the summer when I was visiting my parents. Actually, I kind of pre-recorded it. I talked about why I still think a Life is Strange show is a terrible idea, okay? And I triple down on that. I still believe that to this day. In fact, probably even more so. But that doesn't mean I can't get excited or hopeful about certain elements. I think overall it would probably still be a disaster. I went over all my reasons, in that video on Podcast Now. But does this check out? Oh, my dear God, yes. I think, now look, I've seen her in other things besides just Wednesday, but Wednesday is like the primary catalyst. I think most people would know her as Enid from Wednesday. Number one, the look is there. She's got the look of Max Caufield, okay? And she probably has the look of Max Caufield more than Hannah Tell. And it's not to, my dear God, it's not to dismiss Hannah in any way. She is Max kind of always and forever. I would absolutely stand on that. I'm actually one that still wants to see more Max in more video games. So I'm a big fan, and I'm not saying, anything against that. But, Emma Myers does look very, very much like Max. And, it's interesting. I was going back and forth with Adnan on Twitter. Like, Enid in the show is actually, like, if you only watch that, you would say, I don't know, right? Because she's kind of almost the polar opposite. Like, she doesn't give off this introvert, right? Like, what you think of Max specifically in Life is Strange 1. Enid is kind of the opposite, a little bit more bubbly, a little bit, she loves color, right? She loves, communication and, kind of this back and forth. And she really, like, if there's anybody, Wednesday is not really Max, but if there was anybody in that relationship of Wednesday and Enid that is more Max Caufield, it actually would be Wednesday, right? Enid kind of plays off of that, which is interesting. Again, it's not exact by any means, but that's just like the closest you can kind of get. And then as for her, I don't know, like, you look at her style, you look at her look, and then you also just watch interviews. Like, if you watch interviews with the person that is Emma Myers, now look, Hollywood and celebrities, and I've had my fair share of takes, I think, on that entire culture in the past. We don't have to get into that. But if she is being genuine and, like, they are acting like their actual personable, selves, and they're not still putting on an act even during interviews, which could be debatable, and it could be debatable amongst any of Hollywood, right? If she's acting as her, I think her as a person is far more Max Caufield than you might actually know. Again, specifically, if you're only watching these people as shows, you're only watching them when they're acting, you're not watching interviews. I don't know if you're missing a whole ton, watching interviews, but I mean, I've watched several interviews going back to season 1. I've watched a couple now going into season 2. I'm a fan of the show. I really like season 1. I'm excited for season 2. She really, that's where I think the Max Caufield, like, you watch some people interviewing her, and yeah, she gives off some Max Caufield Caufield vibes big time. So I'm totally for it. People talk about the age, right? I think she's 23. I think she just turned 23. So yeah, I mean, like Maya Hawke, I think was somebody like years and years ago that was kind of a fan cast. I think she's like 27, 28. So it's like, look, again, it's still a bad idea. Like making a Life is Strange show. I know I keep teasing it and then not giving you guys direct reasons, but I made like an 8-9 minute video going over it. I like this choice. I think this would help it. I think this, like, if you think about a live action Max Caufield, I think this is pretty good. The age thing, what's interesting is she looks young. Like, she's, 23. I'm 29, so, I mean, it's almost becoming where, like, you want to call them a kid, even though I guess they're technically not. The thing is, you look at her now versus like season 1, like, because she looks young, but you look at season 2 Enid versus season 1 Enid, or Emma Myers, right? 3 years difference. She has matured quite a bit. Like, she definitely looks much more like a child or a kid or whatever, even though I guess she was 19, 20 when they were doing season 1. So I only mention this because it's like, well, if you're doing Max, like, you want them really to be, and I mean, when you're like filming, you want them to be in like that 16 to 18 range, right? Like a late teenager, but they're not in their 20s, or they're definitely not going into their mid-20s. And like Life is Strange has been stuck in limbo for freaking forever, right? So it's like, if you film it even next year or the year after, okay, she's 24, she's 25. Like, the older you get, the less believable that you can do a Max Caufield from Life is Strange 1. So the age, I don't think, is an issue, like, literally right now, but it quickly becomes an issue. But beyond that, I mean, I think she's got what it takes. I think she's like a good actress beyond, like, what she gives off vibes of Max Caufield, whatever that could mean to any individual person. She also is just really good. Like, I think she has some range to her. I think she could do it. Again, I mean, it really would just come down to the writing and the rest of the cast and like how the whole thing settles. I wouldn't have a lot of confidence, but that'd be a very good start if you announced her as Max and you had like a really good Chloe that was believable, also have that persona and also the look. That would be a great start. And then I still wouldn't have a lot of faith, but I definitely would have more faith than I have right now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.